Hey girl, welcome to Grow Girl Podcast, where we empower women one conversation at a time. I am your host, Inuka Joe, and
I'm your host, What's So Honest from We Are Not the Same podcast. Tune in, turn your notification on, because why, you know, how many platforms we're on now?
we're on a few YouTube, Spotify, come on, Instagram.
Thread, name it, we're there.
Yeah, we're there. So make sure that you tune in and follow.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Girl, good evening.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, that too. Well, you know, the sun,
The time change?
yes.
Yeah.
So it's sunny outside. How was your week?
Oh my gosh, my week was, it was a lot. I was filming
Yes,
over the
congratulations on
weekend.
that.
Thank you. And it was a lot, but I was so appreciative. Like it was an experience.
You look really tired. Were you
I
guys
was.
also switching units? I noticed you had one hairstyle.
Yes.
Okay,
So in a day, I was pregnant and
I
married.
seen
Not
that.
pregnant, got abused. Like
I seen
I was
that.
like three characters in one
You
day.
guys might as well make it a soap opera.
Honestly, the director, her name is Darlene. She has
Congratulations,
a
Darlene.
nonprofit called Fortress of Hope. And she really wants to, let people know about sexual abuse and assault. So she does stage plays. So I'm in her play.
Amazing.
And this time around, I'm the main character. So I was super grateful.
That's good. Well,
Yeah.
this week was Sunday, Easter
Easter
Sunday.
Sunday, Resurrection Day.
Yes.
What
I
did you
went to
do?
service. No, I went to service and my group and I also went to go feed the community. So I was
Yes.
fortunate to be out in the North Miami Beach area feeding the community, guys. So feeding the community was different. It wasn't just for the homeless people or the
Okay.
less fortunate. It was just anyone that was there. We got to meet a nice little lady that just caught the bus from Little Haiti that came down, and we gave her a sandwich. We gave her some water, some juice. She was excited. So we got to feed the community this week. Shout out to Marie. She probably gonna be like, what? But shout out to all the girls, everyone that supported that came. Inuka was super tired,
I
y'all, but
was
she
so
was there in
tired,
spirit,
y'all.
and her
I prayed for
donation is
y'all.
always there. You seen how hot it was too.
Yeah, it was
But
super
we did
hot.
good. We were so tired, but we accomplished
And
it.
people were like receptive.
Yes. Well, one guy we ran into and was, hey, we're from here, and then he was like, y'all got the wrong person. I ain't homeless. No, I'm good. I'm good. And we're like, no. It's for the community. Like, you can have a sandwich, right? Then the transit bus driver stopped and she's like, let me get something.
Oh,
So
she
we,
wanted some
yes, so
food.
we gave her a sandwich. We gave her juice, water. He like, you know what? I think I'm gonna take that sandwich. We're like, but yes, some people's a little, off.
Yeah.
And another thing we noticed too, it's a good thing and a bad thing, but lately a lot of people are not into you recording anymore. When
True.
before you can document things that you're doing. So our recording was more for us going out there, showing and letting everybody know you can do it too.
That's
Hey
good.
guys, next time you go, somebody will say, I would like to join you guys. I've seen the footage. I would like to be there. So for me, footage and recording is really just documenting everything we were doing that day. My niece Atala joined in. She was so excited to
Aw.
see what we were doing, and you could tell she was aware and was very like, wow, they're giving out things for free to people.
No, that's always
So that was
good.
amazing.
Yeah, giving
But
back.
going back to the show, after all that abuse, pregnant, did you think about getting a therapist? I hope it's a therapist on the movie.
Listen, my character, her name is Pam. She definitely goes to therapy.
Amen.
Yes, you're gonna see that once the stage play rolls out. She goes to therapy multiple times. That's how she was able to overcome all of her addictions, get out of her abusive relationship. It was through a therapist and Jesus.
So on that note, I really didn't know Inuka was acting. I thought it was something she was really going through in real life. So I decided on this episode we was gonna bring out a real therapist. Okay. So Inuka, I got a surprise for you. I have a special guest in the building.
A surprise
A
therapist
sup-
for me?
yes, because everything that you're going through, being an actor, I know you need a therapist to
Girl,
get out of character.
I need a therapist.
So on that note, I kind of, gave you some notes. So I would
Yes,
love for you to introduce your therapist for today.
of course. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we have a therapist in the building. Her
Yes.
name is Renette Romaine, a proud Orlando native and boy mom of two. She is a licensed clinical social worker and founder of Rive Mental Health and Wellness. Inspired by her personal experience with domestic violence, she's dedicated to creating a safe and healing space for underserved communities.
All right, guys. Renette specializes in helping couples build healthy communication, a strong relationship that we all need. Outside of work, you can catch her enjoying music, family time, anything that's feeding her mindset. She is there to grow her mindset to help you guys. So help us welcome Miss
Yes.
Ro.
Renette Romaine.
Maine.
Woo!
Yay! Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I wish we
Thank
can do
you.
the ladies and gentlemen, but we'll get him on the show one day. But we did great.
That intro was
Welcome.
great. Thank you. Thank you.
So, introduce yourself to the people.
So my name is Raynette Romaine. I, as you said, am from Orlando originally. Relocated to South Florida back in 2004 when I moved down to Miami for college. Attended Barry University. Currently, I'm in the mental health field. As you mentioned, I am a therapist. So my primary focus right now is couples,
Okay.
but I have a strong heart for young adults and teenagers who are struggling to thrive, who are struggling to launch. So if you have, if they're transitioning from high school to college, if they're transitioning from college into career life, if they're transitioning into parenthood and they have a hard time because not everybody knows how to do these things. I love to help others launch. is what we
Wow.
call it.
That's beautiful. That's
Nice.
Yeah, that's
You're
really,
like
really
you're
good.
like in our neighborhood of our foundations. So that's good.
Thank you.
So what inspired you to become a therapist, and what has your journey looked like thus far?
So, inspiration definitely comes from my upbringing. I am of Haitian descent. I was born and raised in a Haitian household. And my earlier years, I did get to witness, I say get to because it was a part of my experience. I got to witness in home violence where my mom was victim to physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, and being young and being exposed to that and not really having the words to put it
Yeah.
together. Then later on, taking an intro to psych course and learning about these things and connecting the dots, like, oh my goodness, like,
Yeah.
could it be that trauma is what I experienced? So, having that experience and then being that person that everybody likes to gravitate towards to talk to, piecing the two together, I was like, look, I would love to help each other, and social work was the best way.
Got it. What a better way to help people and get paid doing it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. So listen, we love the name. We're also Haitian, by the way.
Yeah.
So tell the people the name of the company so they can know what it mean.
Okay, so it is réveiller, and réveiller in Creole means awaken. It means, and it's also drawing at people to wake up, right?
Yes.
So when you see the name, if you speak the language, you know that this place is for me, right?
Yes.
So if you're Creole speaking and you see Rivier, it's like, wait a minute, who are these people? Only to find out that we're a mental health agency,
Yeah.
and our focus is underserved communities. Haitian people are a part of the underserved
Yeah.
Yes.
community.
True.
So,
Nice. I love the name.
thank you.
Yeah, it's very different.
Thank
So you were a therapist before you became a licensed therapist.
Yes.
I guess, right?
That's what I say.
Put
What
it
better
that
way to get paid for it?
Yeah.
yeah.
You were that friend that everyone came to like really just vent,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you always was just good at giving advice.
You know, I was drawn to it, even when they didn't need it, right? It was like
You always have something to tell them.
consulting, right?
All right, so one of my questions is how do you maintain emotional boundary and self-care while holding space for others' pain every day?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
So holding space, creating boundaries. Boundaries starts with yourself,
Mm.
right? So a lot of times we hear boundaries and we're like setting boundaries from one person to the next, but it honestly starts with you. So for me, I have to respect hard no's, right? No is a complete sentence, is what it said, right? Even for myself. So I'm in a space where I constantly have to be available for people to pour into,
Yeah.
right?
True.
I have to create a boundary where it's like, I can't internalize it. I can feel in the moment for you and with you. So I'll empathize in that space, but I have to create it to where it's like, that's your life.
Yeah.
I'm a vessel to kind of help you figure out what happened, why it happened, how we get through it, but it's not my life,
Mm.
right? So once we are done with session, kind of have to turn it off and go to the next.
Yeah. That's really, really good. So, what are some of the challenges women face today, and how do you approach them as a therapist?
Oh, women,
Women,
us.
Yes.
a lot of challenges, huh?
Definitely a lot, right?
Yeah.
So many to mention here, but
You can. We're here for
Yeah,
it.
we have the
Thank you.
time.
Yes.
So women, we have a very hard time. We have a very hard time shifting,
Okay.
right? And I say this generally speaking because shifting is something we have to learn to do. And what that means is today it might be, this is what I have to do. I'm a mom, I work, I do these things. Tomorrow, I'm this person today, right?
Yes.
Tomorrow, and I might be doing this while single. Tomorrow, I'm still this person, but now in a relationship, right? How do you shift from being that I'm super independent to
Oh yeah,
now I'm in a relationship
I
type
need
of
that.
situation? How do I do the same? How do I do both while also being soft?
Yeah,
Because once you get in a relationship, if you're with someone who's trustworthy and who can handle it, you kind of want to lean into it.
yeah.
But we have a hard time. We have a hard time shifting.
Wow.
We have a hard time
It's true.
shifting.
I remember being in a relationship and I felt like I was on mommy mode. Like I could be on a date. My son called me. I'm switching up that date.
Yeah.
I'm switching up the time because I need to be there. I was at his football practice, mommy mode. I'll make time for the guy, but it'll be mommy mode. Then I realized too in my career when I was doing the event coordinating, I just remember texting him like, listen, as soon as I'm done with this wedding, I'm going to give you like all the time in the world. But for some reason, I was just always focused on my craft. I denounced the whole Gemini thing, but, they're like, oh, that's just a Gemini thing. And I ran with that. Like, oh, it's just a Gemini thing. That's what we do. The whole double life thing. But now I'm like, no, girl, it's you. It's you.
Absolutely.
Because I used to take on the bridal job. Like, no one exists but this bride. And I didn't know how to shift.
Wow.
It was till the day after the wedding. I'm like, finally, it's over. And then I'll be texting him, calling him. And I guess he got so used to me doing that it was nothing to him. He never really confronted me about it because I guess it was, for me, I'm communicating. I'm telling you I'm not available right now because I have a wedding. And you know how I get about planning weddings. So, but that makes sense with the shifting now.
For me, I've been single for a very long time and a single mom. Take care of myself, very independent. And I'm at a space where I'm like, okay, I'm becoming more open to, to a man, right? But I still feel when I'm married, I still want to be a little independent. Like I don't want to have that whole lifestyle of, oh, you're just a wife, you have to cook and clean. Like I want to do what I want to do. And I'm like, is that a problem? Will that be an issue?
It shouldn't be. If you are thinking this or that,
Yeah.
then it's an issue. Sometimes you have to shift it to this
And
that.
Got it.
You, for instance, when you mentioned being a mom and constantly being on mommy mode, the shifting requires, like being able to do that requires you saying, I'm still a great mom, even if I take 1 or 2 hours for myself,
Yeah.
where I tell my baby, look, don't bother mommy, or I drop my baby off to the sitter and I rest in knowing that they're okay. Nothing's going to happen to them.
Yes.
He's good. I'm going to have my me time, right? Because this is a part of you being who you are. You're not just mommy.
True.
Yeah.
So why do we lose our identity after we have a baby?
Right. But we're not taught these things.
Of course
How to
not.
shift. It's just like, okay, you become a wife, you're a
Boom.
wife. Boom. You become a mom, boom, you're a mom. We don't learn to incorporate all of it together.
Don't worry. Enuka's about to write a book on it. Listen, by the time we done wood, guess what? Well, Enuka, remember
wrote
with
a
the
book.
therapist? Girl, I wrote a book called Session Time.
Oh my gosh. She never lied.
We're going to get it because
That's
anything,
awesome, though. I love it.
everything Enuka feel like we're not learning, she's going to make
I'm
sure.
going to try to learn it myself.
She's going to learn it herself. She's going to put it in a book, and it's open for everyone.
Wow. I love
You
it.
know,
I love it.
so right when she said that, I looked at her. I was like, "Oh, she's about to write that book."
coming.
But it's true.
Yeah.
Even, let me tell you, so I had my son at 19.
Mhm.
And a lot of my friends, they always said, I didn't even know you had a kid because you were always out with us.
Wow.
I didn't lose because I was young.
Mhm.
I still wanted to make sure that I still was enjoying myself, but I was still a mom,
Mhm.
you know? And so I was able to balance that some way. I didn't want to lose that side of me, you know? But there are times where I felt, man, am I a bad mom? And it's like, no. My son would say I'm a great mom.
Mhm.
But I had people come up to me and say, why are you traveling? You're a
Yeah,
horrible
yeah.
mom. Like, try to bring me down. I'm like, why can't I do that?
You can. I mean, who's your model is who you have to think about.
Yeah.
Like when our culture, Haitian women is,
Oh,
and they literally are super
super.
women, right?
Yeah.
But how often do you see your mom doing something for herself?
Never.
It's work,
Church.
clean cook, church,
Clean cook.
right? Clean cook, take care of the kids.
That's it.
That's it. They're never really doing anything for them. For them, church was it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Where
was
it was
it.
like this.
That was the only shift, the
Mhm.
spirit.
Yeah.
Nothing else. They wasn't doing. I remember we always went out to eat, but I remember now that you can hear your parents speak clearly. And I just remember we wanted to take my mom out to eat one time, and she'll be like, "Oh, just give me the money." But you know, around that time, we're like, oh, "Okay, well, give her the
Yeah.
money." As I got older, I'm like, "No, we're going out to go eat. You're going to shift.
Wow.
You know, you're going to go out to eat, enjoy a dinner. Don't look at the bill. It doesn't matter. Shift." And now it's like, oh, when are we going to that next restaurant? Oh, that shift was good, huh?
Now they're into it.
Yes.
Right? I want to go on a cruise. When's the next cruise? When's this? So yeah.
All right, so my next question is, how do you approach therapy with the culture? We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
With the generation and the beliefs and, you know, the clash with mental health practice. Like, how do you, what's the word I'm looking for? Approach it with someone, and I'm telling you, well, that's not how my mom raised us, or, you know, that I'm Haitian and we don't believe in, you know,
It's witchcraft.
oh,
Like the mental illness.
yes. I was going to say we don't believe in merging bank accounts, but. So how do you approach that? Like when you're in session with someone and they're like,
And they're reluctant.
Yeah.
Like they're very resistant.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. You can't be forceful.
Yeah.
Right. You have to honor people's pace. You have to honor their pace. So think about. I put myself in people's shoes.
got it.
Right? This is the power of empathizing. Why are they the way that they are? There's a reason why, right? So I have to meet you where you are. And what I try to do to help that is I use something that they are accustomed to or something that they're into.
Okay.
So if you're into sports, then I'm going to relate whatever it is that I'm talking about to sports, right? Because that's the
That's
language
true.
you speak. If you're into religion, spirituality, God, I'm going to make it relatable to that. You know, so a lot of times I get individuals who are resistant, and that's okay. My goal as a therapist is to recognize that you're resistant and to meet you where you are and figure out how are we going to get around this. That's pretty much how it goes.
Got it. I guess there's no tussling So like if someone,
Sometimes people aren't willing to
got it.
adjust, right?
Yeah.
So what can we work on? I
Mhm.
put the ball back into your court, and it's like, all right, we're not gonna fight, you know. I think you should adopt this way. However, it's not for me to tell you what I think and to impose
Mm.
that on you. So this is what it is. Would you consider thinking about it this way, right? Let's take between now and when we meet again, it might be a week, right?
Mhm.
I'm encouraging you to try this or to try that and come back and let me know how it works for you. And sometimes through experience, they realize, you know what, there is a better way.
Some
That
people
makes
got to
sense.
learn
Mm-hmm.
on their own,
Absolutely.
right? I have a
Mm-hmm.
question. So you experienced domestic violence in the home.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're a therapist. Your mother went through it, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now that you're a therapist, were you able to like kind of help your mom in any way, or is it that she's older, the culture, and you kind of just keeping your hands off of it, type
Mm-hmm.
of thing?
A little bit of both. I do approach it with ease and caution, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a therapist, but I'm still, that's my mom,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? So it's a different set of emotions that's involved.
Mm.
And so with my mom, I do have those moments where with my skill set, I'll have casual conversations with her.
Oh wow.
Mom, how
Yeah.
did you do this? How did you manage working, being a single mom and raising these kids?
Yeah.
And how did you do it? When you and my dad were together, what made you stay? Like, I'll ease it in there,
Yeah.
but not forcefully.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell that it's something different for her because there's a lot of reflecting. She's like,
She not ready to.
yeah, she's like, I never
Yeah.
thought about it that way. I never, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, it's true because my mom, I've realized that she's been through a lot of trauma. And I
Mm-hmm.
tried talking to her, but it's like a wall.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want to become aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided to just, okay, leave her alone. She's stuck in her ways and just pray for her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, when my mom, slowly for surely, she started opening up, like telling us stuff, but you'll hear her say, if I tell you guys half of the things I went through,
Mm.
y'all won't even believe me. But what's funny about life is they don't really have to tell you the story anymore because in the midst of their actions sometimes
You could tell.
you can tell because sometimes you got to stop, drop, and be like, I'm not that person.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Yeah.
Like with they, that trauma of, how they say how the kids look like their father.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes they react like that with us,
Yeah.
and
That's
we'll be like,
true.
whoa, okay. Or they'll be like, oh, just like your dad, and you like, ooh, maybe my dad used to speak like that. So you start low key picking their brain.
Yeah.
But they all went through trauma.
Oh my gosh. A
And
lot.
I know I have experienced things too in my 20s or whatever. And sometimes I sit back and I'm like, am I reaping? Like,
Wow.
is this part of something somebody went through? Like, then when you start hearing stories, you're like, oh, yeah. And then it's a movie that's out on Netflix. It's called This Ends With Us.
Mm-hmm.
After watching that movie, I was like, yo, a lot of things was going to and will and still end with me. Because once I acknowledge it, I'm like, yeah, nah.
This ain't
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah, and
It's
I
been
know for some
happening.
people that meet me now might think like, why is she like this? Why? No, no, no. It's because there's a lot of things that I'm like, no, it ends with me.
Yeah.
Alcoholism
Patterns.
end with me. Because I
Yeah.
mean, I was that kid that watched my dad came home with Guinness thinking it was Mata.
Mm.
If you know it's
Mm.
Mata.
Mm-hmm.
But you find out what Guinness says. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Heineken was a thing. We didn't, Haitians didn't really drink Corona.
Yeah.
So I witnessed that, but it was for me casual drinking for them. So, in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, what's wrong with those type of beverage?
Mm-hmm.
But I realized, no, it had to end. I remember my dad being drunk, slumped, but he could wake up the next day, go to work like nothing happened.
Functioning
Yeah.
alcohol.
Real bad.
And you not even know that. That's what that is. A functioning alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So my question to you is, how do you deal with a client that's not ready to leave an abusive relationship?
Yeah.
I know everybody, one, two,
Ooh.
three.
That's deep. It depends on how you define abusive, one. that is going to determine how I feel about it, right? At the end of the day, if it's an adults, they don't fall into the category of protected, right? And what that means is you can be reporting abuse to me all day. You have to make the first step to report it. I can't do it. It's not my responsibility. As a therapist, I'm there to listen. I'm there to support. I'm there to feed your mind so that you know there's a different way, right? And once you know there's a different way, that's where you get your strength from. Okay? There's a lot of, in my world of therapy, I love this concept of CBT. It's cognitive behavior therapy. And it's all about reframing how you think, right? It's shifting the narrative. So for a person, it doesn't have to be just a woman, right? Man or woman in an abusive relationship, because there's emotional abuse.
Yes.
There's physical abuse. Yeah. There's financial abuse. There's all these genres of abuse, right? So my theory is whatever works for you. And I actually have clients who are constantly falling into abusive relationships.
Wow.
However, I'm going to feed you positivity. I'm going to show you these different avenues that you can travel, right? I'm going to encourage you to get out. Do more for yourself. If you're one who's depressed and constantly in home, not doing anything, my encouragement is going to be go out and do something that you enjoy doing, right? Remove yourself from that environment, the toxic environment. And slowly, all I could do is keep feeding you positivity. Wow. And eventually, you'll make the decision. And remind you, too, that, you know, some people, they stay for financial reasons, right? So if all I can do is encourage you to go out and be a little more independent, go get a job. Go get that job. Even if it pays $10 an hour, go do it. You're making your own money. So any way that I can find or manipulate or maneuver to get you to where you need to be so that you're strong enough to leave that relationship, that tends to be the route that I take.
So how do you support someone who's currently in an abusive relationship, but they don't know how to get out or they're ready to get out?
Okay. Going back to strength-based approach, right? So focus on what the strengths of the person is.
Okay.
And then I feed them wherever there's a loop, like a door, an entry to get in to what's going on, that's where I go. But before I even do that, I have to build trust with that person. They have to know that I'm a trusted source.
Got it.
Okay? And one of the things, I'm going to tell you guys this because it's important for people to understand that when you are in an abusive relationship, sometimes you don't know that you're in an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
Right? Outsiders they see it, right? The person that's abusing, sometimes that's the only way they know as well.
Yeah.
They're doing the abuse, but to them, this is what's going to keep my person where they are.
Yeah.
That's like parents who constantly whip kids, or even, where do they get that from? You whip because you want to keep somebody
them in line. Yeah.
Order.
So the abuser,
Control.
They don't know better, right? Sometimes they do, but this is their way of maintaining that control and making sure that this person doesn't get away.
Yeah. Wow. I feel like it was a season, a lot of movies, because I'm a Lifetime kid. I always tell people that. So it's a lot of Lifetime movies I grew up on. I was like, it could never. And I'll make sure, and if that was to happen, I will remember that Lifetime movie when that man beat the lady. I'm a Lifetime generation. So I just remember it was a season where people would say, well, you know, because if he beats you, he loves you. You know, he loves me because he beats me, and then he says sorry. I never had someone that said sorry to me. All they heard was sorry. They forgot about the black eye, the pulling of the hair, the punching. I remember it used to be movies where they punched them in the stomach, dragged them, and then the next one is she making breakfast. I used to be like,
yeah, that happens.
No.
I remember I had my son early. I was in an abusive relationship,
Mm.
and my abuser will always say, "You have to go through the fire. That's the only way you'll know it's love." That's what he used to tell
Wow.
me. He says, "Love without how is it love is not being tested?"
Oh.
Wow.
He would tell me that.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So the question with that is, where, what did he go through that made him feel and think that that was okay?
Yeah.
Right? It's a cycle.
Yeah.
So there's, when you think of abuse, right? I'm raised in a house. I was raised in a domestic violence situation where my mom was abused by my dad. I grew up with the same mentality as you. Never will that happen, right? In my head, it was never will that happen.
In our head.
But when you get into a relationship,
Yeah.
sometimes you're the one that's starting it and that's abusing, because
Wow.
in your mind it's, I'll never let that happen to me. So I'm doing everything possible
To avoid
to
that.
avoid it,
But
while
you do
and
it.
I'm the one abusing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right?
Because that goes back to what you say. Women also, men get abused too.
Yes.
And they don't talk about it.
Yes.
You know, how many guys get slapped in the face and that's like, oh, that's what women know to do. Once again, they have seen that before.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of movies promoted those things too, where you slap a guy to show him like, oh, try me if you want to.
Yeah.
You know, but he has in his mind, I watched my father beat my mom, and I told myself I would never put my
Never.
hand on a woman. So now you know that. So now you go against that, and you're slapping him, you're punching him, he just letting you hit him. I have spoke to women before that
Yeah.
say stuff like that, like, girl, and he don't even move because he know,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
his one trigger.
Yeah.
I used to tell my brothers, listen, don't put your hands on no women. Call
Yeah.
me. And I'm better now because I'm in my therapy session today,
This is a good therapy session for the both
and
of
we're
us.
going to get better.
I love that. She's like, call me. I
Call
got
me.
you. Yeah.
Call me. Do not put your hand on anyone. So far, the guys in my family have been pretty good.
That's
We're not
good.
really, beating on anyone, but just call your sisters.
That's good.
Do you get a lot of men?
My preference is men. My preference is to work with men. And I do get men who are, the abuse that they're going through is more emotional and mental,
Yeah.
right? And you said something earlier, which is very true. Because they were raised in the household, you try so hard not to repeat the cycle.
Yeah.
And so when you're in that situation, even though it's emotionally and mentally taxing, you're like, absolutely not. I'm not going to break up a home. I'm not going to fight back. I'm not going to abuse, right? And then you end up getting stuck in that situation. So,
Yeah. I'm better now, but I used to promote violence.
Oh.
Like, I really used to promote violence. Like, if a guy friend would be telling me, like, his girlfriend or someone's acting out, like, yo, just one time. Like, she's looking for it. Just punch her one time. I used to do that.
where'd
you guys
get
hear that?
from?
What, just one time?
Where'd you get that from? Yeah.
That they looking for it, you should just punch
Yeah,
them one
promote
time.
violence. Mhm.
Myself.
You
'Cause
created
I
that
used-
by yourself?
I used to know. I never. Well, I can't say I used to get bullied, but I used to know with a bully, you like if you fight them that one time or you show them I'm not playing,
Oh.
they will stop
They'll
bullying
stop,
you.
yeah.
Cause I looked at it like she was bullying him. You know how you have that friend and you like, oh, this girl know he a good guy, but she just do stuff. So I used to tell him just shake her up that one time. And he's like, come on. I'm like, all right, trust me. I was like, trust me, she's gonna be okay. But yeah, I used to promote violence because I used to feel like people used to take advantage of people.
Yeah, they
So
do.
scratch their cars, do this, do that. That's abuse. You abusing that man's car because you know how much he liked that
yeah,
car.
Yeah, and just because, like you said, when you see how far you can push it and get
Yeah.
away with it, you continue to do it.
Do more.
Yeah.
You continue to do it.
Yeah.
So,
My next question is, do you think family members should seek counseling knowing they seen another family member like it's in an abused relationship? I'm stuttering because my mind is so drawn to the things that I have seen and been around that it's making me can't even speak about it. But as a family member that have witnessed abuse, I felt like it was a point I needed therapy because I didn't think I
Yeah.
was a good person. Not being there for them after, it was like, okay, no, enough is enough. Like at this point, If police can't do it, if the president can't do it, then I can't do nothing
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
You know, my whole philosophy was I verbally told the person, look, I can't. Once again, now I'm no longer a lifetime kid. I'm a next 48,
Yeah.
and I'm a
First 40.
you know, first 48, and now I'm on Snap where people snap, or you watch those other shows, ID channel, where he don't go kill you, he go kill your entire family.
Oh.
So I used to always put myself in a place where like, yo, what if one day he snap and he take all of us out?
That happens. That's scary. It
Wow.
does happen. Yeah.
That's a good question.
So family should seek therapy. It's not funny. That's a nerve.
But
I'm not laughing, y'all.
We all need therapy at the end of the day, but
Yeah.
you said something very impactful, right? So if I'm outside of the situation and I'm witnessing this abuse, right? And I'm constantly feeding you, telling you, hey, like, seek counseling, do better. This is abusive. You deserve a better. You deserve more. And you're not open to it. Remember earlier you asked about boundaries?
Yeah.
And I spoke about personal boundaries. That's when you have to set a personal boundary. It might hurt to say, "Oh my goodness," like, but what do you do? Because you have the person who's constantly going back, right?
Yeah.
At some point, it's like, "Oh my goodness, if death is what happens, do I feel guilty? I can't feel guilty."
I know, because
You cannot.
we'll
feel
say
guilty.
things like this, and then God blessed us with a life insurance person. We'll be like, well, just get life insurance on them. That's how numb
Oh my
Wow.
God.
we got to the pain.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, yo, make
Jesus.
sure we get a policy.
Yeah.
It was one of those
Wow.
things, like, make sure we get a policy, make sure we do this, because at this point, there's nothing else we can do.
That's
But you
scary.
know what? When you're outside looking in, you feel and think that it's easy for them to just get up and do.
It's not that easy.
But it's not.
Yeah.
You're in a brainwashed situation, right? Where this person just didn't jump out and start the abuse.
Yeah.
If they did, you probably would have ran when you had the opportunity.
Yeah.
But our emotions are so powerful that once emotions get involved, it clutters everything.
It does.
And so now I'm in a situation where someone has told me, I went from being the person that you're chasing to now being the person who's chasing you,
Yeah.
to now feeling like you're the only person for me. I can't do better, right?
Yeah.
When I leave and I go out, where am I going?
Yeah.
Right? Who am I going to have? Who's going to put up with me? Like, the way that the abuse starts with emotional abuse, to where they reduce you.
Yes.
They reduce you to where you start to think that I'm a nobody,
Oh my gosh.
right? And then on top of that, they separate you. That's a part of abuse too.
Yes.
They start to tell you, I don't like your friends, I don't like your family member, I don't. And because emotions are involved, you're in love with this person, you're choosing this person. So it's like, family or this person? I'm going to stick with this person.
Wow.
You know, and next thing you know, you're the only person on this island. You don't have anybody to reach out to. At least in your mind, you feel like, who's going to listen?
Yeah.
I excluded them.
Right.
And so you're stuck in this cycle. And so while we're outside looking in, thinking it's just that easy to get up and go, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not.
Mhm.
You mentioned the CBT method.
Mhm.
What other methods do you do to help your clients?
Wow, I use CBT is my go-to. I love CBT. But there's a method, motivational interviewing, right? This is a method where I'm not going to tell you what to do or how to do it. I'm going to ask you questions. And as you answer the question, you're going to come to the conclusion that this doesn't make sense. So there's power in us listening to ourselves, right?
Wow.
You hear, like, we're all spiritually in tuned, right? The power of the tongue, right? All of
right.
and I have this theory where I say all of counseling modalities goes back to the Bible.
Yeah.
They're
Yes.
biblically rooted. They really are.
Yeah.
CBT, same concept. Power of the tongue. You have to watch what comes out of your mouth. You have to watch what you say. I can think whatever it is. The thought can be a negative thought. I decide how much power I give that thought. the minute it comes out of my mouth, I've given it all power,
Yeah.
right? So CBT, motivational interviewing, I use some um, some pieces of DBT, which is dialectical behavioral therapy, and it's where there's a lot of mindfulness, there's a lot of quieting the mind, relaxation, with DBT. So I use that piece of it. Um, and then for abuse, a big one is exposure therapy. And exposure therapy is exactly what it sounds like. So the very thing that I'm afraid of is what I'm going to confront. So if I'm afraid of snakes, every time you see a snake, what do?
Run, jump.
Oh,
I'll be out.
No. But
I don't like
get
amphibians.
You're one of a kind.
I don't like amphibians at
So when
all.
you see amphibians, when you see something that you're afraid
Yes.
of, the automatic thought and reaction is to run, and
Yeah.
that's what you do. Exposure therapy is going to teach you how not to run. Maybe the first time you practice it, you'll see the snake and you'll be like, snake. You'll want to run, but you're going to resist running, right?
Wow.
Maybe that's what you do the first time. The second time, you might say, okay, I'm not going to run. This time I'm going to go a step closer, right? The next time around, you might be like, this time I'm going to touch it, right? So every time you're exposing yourself more and more to it so that you desensitize.
So do
to
you
the
actually
issue.
use objects? Like you will bring in a steak for someone?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
I don't do snakes.
I don't do snakes. I
I was
don't
gonna
need
let me
that in my
know.
life.
We have a pet snake, so let me know if you want to come. So one of the reasons why I'm not afraid of snakes,
Uh-huh.
it goes back to I kid you not. We have like a brain in our family. One day he created a whole slideshow and a YouTube thing. He sat all of us down and made us watch. Like I thought he should become a teacher. He made us watch about the snake, what it does, how it attack, why it won't attack, because they already ate. And I kid you not, by receiving the knowledge of what the snake was about, I'm not afraid of it.
That's
Exposure
good.
therapy.
That's what I was saying when you were
Yeah,
saying
he
that.
exposed it, yeah.
Exactly. It was in my mind.
Wow.
Okay.
And so you're no longer, you tested the theory?
Listen, when it's time to feed him, the other kids come feed him.
Oh my, so you
But
really
I'm not.
do have a pet snake?
No, I really do. We call him Vamp.
What kind of snake is it?
It's a python. Yeah.
It sleeps in the cage?
In the glass cage, yeah.
Because I've heard some stories about snakes.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, for me, all animals, honestly, I don't trust. I guess,
You shouldn't.
That
I guess
is so
it's one thing to be
scary.
afraid of them, but not trust them. You know, how some
Yeah.
people like, my dog don't bite. Yeah, because that's your dog.
Yeah.
Your dog don't know me.
It might bite me. No, for real.
I don't know. You know, I have that
Oh
new
my
vanilla scent on me. I don't know what your dog don't like. Next to it, I'm getting bit, and now we got to do a whole lawsuit.
Exactly.
You know?
Oh my goodness.
But no. Mm-mm.
I love how you said a lot of your methods are like rooted in biblical principles, because years ago I was so obsessed with this method, neuroplasticity, where you have to rewire your brain. And that's the whole thing when Christ says to renew your mind.
Amen.
And I used to always do that, just always try to rewire my brain, renew my mind. And I used to say, oh my God, it's the same thing that the Bible is saying. That's what they're
It
telling us to
is.
do.
It is. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
So I visit the Live Air page before, and I was studying it as well. And you do have a faith-based part of it, because I remember when I did my therapy session, she didn't really try to mention God.
Wait, you did it with her?
No.
Oh.
No. Well, today,
Okay, yeah,
you
today.
know, in a free
First session. She don't even know.
Listen,
So funny.
no. It was a while ago. I did a therapy when I went to therapy, because
Okay.
someone suggested, Wood, you should go to therapy. Even though you're always happy and bubbly, I think you should go to therapy.
Yeah.
And I took, I listened, I went, whatever. And that's when I was talking about the whole insurance and paying out of pocket or whatever. But I went, and she would not mention God. But one time I was in therapy, and she mentioned saying, I'm like, oh, because, the universe do things. And I asked her, what do you mean by the universe? She's like, well, I don't want to mention, well, I believe in God. Like she whispered it. She's like, I believe in God. And, but, she worked for a company. She was like a solo doctor, though, but she still worked for that company. So she's like, but, and she said it like that. But I remember that session, and I just remember her saying that, like, I don't, and at that time, I was not going to church. But I still believed in God. I still was, building my faith and my relationship with God, but I wasn't in a church home. So, yes, my mindset was probably no community with the church. So, I'm,
Still searching, yeah.
Yeah, so when she mentioned that, it was funny. I was just like, oh, okay. So when I went on your website and I noticed you guys put that on there, I was like, that's dope. Because you hear a lot of people that do not go to therapy because they will say that, oh, no, because if I start talking about God, they're going to shut me down. So now we know.
Well, we're out here. We're out here, right? And we actually, on our platform, shout out to Dr. Sandra Clark Glover. She is PhD level Christian counselor. So we have an expert on our platform as well. But for each of us, we are all covered.
Yes. By the
we
faith,
are
you all have
believers.
faith.
We all have faith.
Awesome.
So absolutely faith-based, and which we don't shy away from.
Yes.
We ask. That's one of our questions when we first assess you. We ask, is there any religious belief?
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to incorporate in counseling sessions? So you have some people who want to pray. Let's do it. Some people, they want you to reference the Bible constantly. Hey, let's do whatever we have to do to get you where you need to be.
Nice.
That's beautiful.
So, so on our podcast, we do have an episode that's called Girl Segment.
Yes.
And Inuka leaves us with something that just tells us, and empower us to grow and be better.
All right, ladies and gents.
Yeah, don't forget the guys.
Yeah, don't forget the guys. So on my Grow Girl segment of the day, I want to let you ladies know that you cannot grow unless you water yourself.
Yes.
So ladies, I want you to water yourself. You're going to water and celebrate your win. You're going to water yourself by speaking positivity to yourself. Water yourself in every way. If you have something that you want to do, but you're scared to do it, just do it. Water yourself daily so that you can grow and become her.
And that's the Girl segment.
That's the Girl segment of the day.
So we do have a game for you. So we do have some questions. Not much, but we have our jar. How they do it when they doing the thing, when they showing people how to. Go ahead and pass that over to her. Oh, you want to? So this is your part.
What do I do with this?
Oh, you read it.
Read it.
Okay.
Yep. Hopefully it's not something we already asked.
I don't think so.
Oh, it's a good one.
Oh.
Okay.
Do you ever catch yourself going into therapist mode in your personal relationships? So to be quite honest, I do not intentionally go into therapist mode, but whenever anyone knows that I'm a therapist, they automatically pin that on me.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, being a therapist.
Oh, I thought you mean like they automatically start asking questions.
No,
No,
they turn
pin
it
on
negative.
me. They like, here you go, being a therapist. Are you pulling out of therapy? They always go back to that. So it's like, we can't even have like a regular conversation
Really?
without you referencing
Well,
that.
guess
I'm a therapist. What?
This is your time to face that camera and you
Yeah.
tell them how you feel about
Let
that.
them know how you feel.
Let them know how you feel.
Let
Like,
'em know.
don't do that, y'all.
Look.
And Barry was not cheap.
Let's
Let's talk about that.
Not at all.
So let me be a regular girl with my mimosa right now. Right? Tell them.
Don't come for her.
Look, and I speak for all the therapists, to be honest. Just
Yes.
because
Yes.
we're in this profession and we are blessed with the skill set to provide counseling doesn't mean that we're always in therapist mode. So give us a chance, please.
So what do they think is your therapist mode? Because you know how you have an intro word like, girl, let me tell you.
Oh.
Like, what do you think you say that they think like, oh God, here we go again?
I don't know that it's a here we go again. I think it's just a tread lightly situation.
Oh, wow.
And if I do start to give advice, I'll say, like, let me tell you. I'm big on let me tell you, right?
So that's your intro
It
word.
might be that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I didn't even think about that. But I think it's a constant. So if I'm like reflecting, let me think about that, right? Then they're like, oh, I forgot you're a therapist. So
Listen, and in the day you decide to take and create boundaries and you go on silent mode, they're going to be like, Renee didn't say
She's
nothing?
not gonna say anything to me.
Oh, she ain't say nothing?
No.
Girl, she ain't had nothing to say? No, because I ain't want to be on therapist mode. You know, I ain't want to be the person that ready to pull out my sheet and...
That's
you know, I gotta
funny.
check. That's setting boundaries with myself too.
Yeah.
Where sometimes, and I'm learning that, right? So it's funny you bring that up. Where I tell myself to shut up.
That's good.
Like, right, be quiet.
Yeah.
And nobody asked you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And even for us individually, sometimes you do have to think of that. Like, naturally, earlier I told you guys that friends will always come to me and talk, and I would give advice even when it wasn't asked
Unsolicited,
for.
yeah.
I have to put myself in a situation where it's like, Ray, wait till they ask you for it. You don't need to offer information. You don't need to solicit any information.
Yeah.
Just chill.
Yeah.
They'll tell you what they need from you.
That's true.
That's true. Okay.
We're not done. We got more questions for you.
Oh. This is fun. Wow. If therapy were a playlist, what would be the top 3 songs on it? Oh my goodness. This is a good one.
That's a whirlwind.
Yeah.
If therapy were a playlist, what would be the top 3 songs on it? There's a new song right now, Anxiety.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
yes,
gosh,
from Dolce.
Dolce, Anxiety.
You like that one? What else?
I like it. If therapy were, I don't know if I'm really understanding the question.
So if therapy was a playlist, so an Apple playlist, so let's say a wedding playlist, I will put CeCe Wine, I'll put Casey JoJo,
Meet me at the altar.
Go ahead, girl. I'll put Whitney Houston. Hit a note.
Ooh.
For me, it's a girl called Jessie, and she has a song that's called "It Couldn't Be Me." I don't know if y'all heard that one. It couldn't be. It's a beautiful song. I had to hear it over and over because the way she switched it up. But it's basically her telling the person like it couldn't be her. Like a guy that got married, one of her ex or whatever, and he's with the girl, but he didn't choose her. You know, but he's always thinking about her. Like she's like, he's thinking about her. Then she switched the next verse where she says she fixed herself up to be with him now. You know, imagination, I guess.
Wow.
And he put her like in a 2-bedroom house. He didn't put her in that big house. He put her in a 2-bedroom home, this and that. But then she was like, he's always upset with his wife. So that means like now she's the side chick. If I'm listening to the song right, but it couldn't be her. So everything she was saying was like, it couldn't be me. And I was saying that. I was like, it couldn't be, it can't be me.
But it sounded like it was her.
Yeah.
She's saying it couldn't be her.
Exactly. But what she's saying is she's saying the song, but then you're right about that part.
Yeah, she right.
While she's saying it couldn't be me.
She right.
It
It's
is
her.
you.
You think
girl.
so?
Yeah.
It couldn't be me. But maybe my metaphor of it is
She's
totally
shocked
different.
that it's her.
Probably. In the
Yeah,
end,
she's
she
shocked that it's
realized,
her. And she realized, wow, this is my
it
life.
is me.
Girl, you better take that off the playlist.
I like that song.
But you don't want that to become your reality.
It's not a reality. It's like the way I listen to it, it couldn't be me. Like,
You took it differently.
you and her thinking about me. Yeah, I'm just saying. So, like, the.
She is funny. I love it.
Oh, Lord. You know, what's on your playlist?
My playlist? Twin.
Yeah.
Where have you been? Nobody knows. That's my husband.
That's it.
You know me better than anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, basically, the question is if it was a playlist, like, what would be, like, the 3 songs you probably listen to relax?
Oh. Okay.
It's like a gym playlist. You know, you have to
Yeah.
create your list.
Yeah.
I listen to Karen Thorne. I think
She's
Karen
nice.
Hawthorne.
She's nice.
Yeah,
I like her
that's
album.
like therapy for me.
Yeah.
I love her. Positive. Yeah.
I love a lot of Jasmine Sullivan.
Okay.
I really do. I love me some Jasmine, and she sings from a place of like hurt.
Oh, I was just about to say.
Yeah, I was thinking about
I bust
Lions
your
and
windows
Tigers
out
and
your
Bears?
car.
No, not those songs. But
What's the other one? The new ones?
I don't know.
Her
Don't
voice
ask
is
me
amazing,
about-
though.
Don't ask me about song titles because I don't know.
Yeah.
But she is, because she speaks from a place of pain. For me, to me, listening to it is therapeutic,
Yeah.
right? And where the song brings you back to. So let me redo this because that's my girl song. Where does it bring me is how I'm gonna think about
Okay.
it.
Got it.
Right. I love gospel music, so I'm big on some Donnie McClurkin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Donnie McClurkin. Some
You keep forgetting the famous
who
Ooh, you better not. Who you
Maverick
talking
City.
about? Oh, I thought you was gonna say somebody
Maverick
else.
Oh
City.
my gosh, who you thought I was
I thought you
gonna
was gonna say Kirk Franklin.
Y'all better stop.
Okay.
Maverick City is what you were saying. This one.
Okay.
Come on, this one.
Sorry.
Maverick City.
Maverick City, Chandler Moore,
I love
Naomi,
Maverick City. Yeah.
the crew.
There's one more. The person's just my memory does not work that way. Okay.
Doe.
It's
Doe is
not
good. Do you know who
coming.
Doe is?
Who?
Doe.
What's the
She
song?
sings "When I Pray."
I probably know it, but don't know the.
When you get in your car, yeah.
Okay.
When I
Doe,
Pray.
When I pray.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right. What's the next questions from the audience?
One more.
This is from the audience.
You might have to start creating playlists for your
For my client, right?
that would be nice.
What's your take on people thinking therapy is only for people who are broken or have serious issues? Wow, this is a
Ooh.
good one. A lot of times people think that therapy is for crazy people. They'll say that all the time.
Yeah.
Why do
Wow.
I need therapy? I'm not crazy.
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah, people say
it
that.
A lot.
Oh,
So
wow.
my take on it is if you are breathing, you could benefit from therapy. Our life experiences may not be the same, but they definitely impact us,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's an emotional impact that we all get from sometimes you don't know that it's traumatic
Yeah.
until you start talking about it. I get that all the time. Therapists on this side, we know what questions to ask based on the information that you present. And we're already like a typewriter in our head typing up, oh, it might be trauma. Sounds like a bit of trauma going on there. So we'll dig into certain questions to find out. And as they're answering the question, they're like, oh my goodness, I never knew that was a problem, but apparently it is.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer the question, if you are breathing and you are walking on God's green earth, you can benefit from counseling. It's not for crazy people. We're all crazy, to be honest with you.
Huh.
We all have
Say it
our
again,
own-
sis. Let him know.
We all have our own insanities. We really
It's
do.
true.
We may not be as broken as your neighbor,
Yeah.
but we all have a bit of brokenness in us. Some of us, we mask it, we keep walking, we keep pushing every day. But you can honor yourself by giving yourself that space to, even if you don't think you have anything to talk about, counseling is helpful.
Okay.
So
You know, it's funny. When I was in school, when I was in high school, shout out to the girls I used to hang around with. We actually used to have like a lot of meetings, and it was like therapy moments for us.
Good.
Like we'll be crying, like, but you said it was like a whole therapy session. for us.
Ooh, that's
And then
really
after that, yeah, we
good.
used to have like therapy. So now when I go back and think about it, one person says something and they be like, well, Inuka, Renee didn't like what you said. Da. Who you think that was?
Who was that?
Me.
Oh, that was you. You just reminded me. I had this was years ago. A friend of mine, she would say, "Let's go to the beach and do connections with the inner souls." And I'd be like, "Girl, no."
No.
That was Rachel. I'm gonna call her out.
Edit. Oh,
Yeah, no.
Okay.
She used to always try to drag us to the beach and it just felt so weird.
Oh, wow.
But
that
that
was
was
her peaceful place, probably.
Peaceful place, yeah.
Yeah.
And now she's gonna be a doctor.
Wow.
Oh, shout
This is
out
when we were teenagers in high
Yes.
school. Let's do connections with the inner souls. Let's
No,
go to the
ma'am.
beach. No, ma'am.
I actually like going to the beach though, but not for that.
I mean, it's your, what do you call it? She call it connecting with inner souls.
You know what's funny about
That's true.
It's your peaceful place.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
She just gave it a weird name. It was just-
Got it.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, it's my go-to. And it's funny because one day, because I'll gather everyone. I'm like, hey, we're going to the beach. And one day somebody said, what happened now? You're going on a fast? I went,
Was
She
it?
burst her
Was
bubble.
it sure was. It was a cleanse. It was like, hey, we got to go to the beach.
That's so funny.
I was like, okay, you know me, but let's go to Publix to get a sub. One more question.
One more.
Yeah.
One more question.
There we go. What's something surprising you learned about yourself while helping others heal?
That's good.
I know, right?
Yeah.
What I said earlier, that we all have our own insanities.
Mm.
That I have a bit of crazy in me too, if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah.
The only difference is how it's expressed,
Yeah.
right? Some people, they have anger and it comes out in rage, right? Or they're physical with it. Some people are very quiet with it when they're angry, and it's like,
That's scary, the quiet
you know,
ones.
very
Listen.
scary. But at the end of the day, we all have our own bit of insanity.
Yeah.
Every single person. So that's what I learned about myself. And I learned what my crazy is.
Yeah.
When I'm working with someone and they're like, this happened and this happened. And in my head, I'm like, I did the same thing. Right? Or I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Or could that be? And so now I get to view it from a different angle. And then now from this angle, it makes sense that maybe that's something I shouldn't have done or shouldn't have thought.
Oh, good answer.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to highlight. Our highlight for today will be your company.
Yes.
So listen, guys, wake up, wake up, wake up. Okay.
Rivet.
We have Rivet in the building today. All right. So drop them old friends, drop them old co-workers that you go to Miss Claire and talk and she go tell your business. Drop those spiritual pastors, spiritual moms. Yes, I'm saying it. I'm sorry. Those mentors.
They're
no
not really
shade.
mentors. They're not really mentors.
Yes, and tap into Live It, you guys. Please tap in. So we definitely had an amazing time with you.
Thank you.
This is your time to shine.
Yeah.
So the camera is on you.
Yeah, let us
Give
know.
your staff a shout out. Give the locations a shout out. Let them know where you at. Take your time.
Absolutely. So again, it's Live It Mental Health and Wellness. We are based out of Florida, so our primary location is in West Palm Beach. However, we serve all of Florida. We have a physical location in Jacksonville as well, ran by a co-owner, my co-owner, Bianca Mint. We provide in-person counseling. We provide virtual counseling. Whatever you need, however you need it, we're here to help you. We provide services to Florida, but also Massachusetts and Delaware and Utah.
Wow.
We are on many different platforms. We accept private insurance. We accept cash pay. The private insurances right now are mostly commercial insurances, so Blue Cross, United Health. If you work somewhere and your employer provides you with insurance, more than likely we accept that insurance. We're a phone call away. All you have to do is call us 561-257.
Yes, girl.
1877. I remembered it. We try to make sure that the intake process is quick and swift. We have several therapists on our platform. Shout out to our therapists. And we specialize in many different things. There's nothing that you're not struggling with that we may not have the answer to supporting you in. Give therapy a shot. If you are breathing and if you are walking on God's green earth, therapy can work for you. I personally specialize in couples counseling. if you are struggling, even if your partner doesn't want to seek counseling, I provide couples counseling through one individual as well. Okay, so come see us, come talk to us. We are here to support your journey to healing.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yes.
That was great.
Thank you.
Listen,
Amazing.
yes, you
We thank you
did.
so much.
Did you enjoy the therapy session?
I sure did.
Because she didn't even know that we had a whole therapy session on the house.
Listen,
I
it was
love
all
it.
for Inuka.
It was for her
I
too.
love it.
Listen, I squeezed that free session in. But look, if you get an appointment, the first 15 minutes is free. So if you have all your questions in 15 minutes,
That's a good one. 15-minute consultation.
yes,
free of
so it's
charge.
free.
Yeah.
So y'all go ahead squeeze in that 15 minutes.
For real.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you so
we-
much, everybody, for tuning in. It's been real.
Yes, thank you again, guys. I'm your host, What's So Honest from We Are Not the Same podcast. It's a pleasure.
And I am your host, Inuka Joe from Grow Girl Podcast.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.